I'll pay you £4,000 to ruin a date. Amara Okoye stared at the message on her phone, her hands trembling. £4,000. Enough to keep her from being homeless. Enough to stop the panic that woke her up at 3 a.m. every night. I didn't know the man I was supposed to reject would become my husband. If you believe one decision can change your entire life, stay with me. This is a story about desperation, deception, and a love that refused to die even when built on lies. Hit subscribe, because you won't want to miss what happens next. Let me take you back to how it all started. One woman was running from a future she didn't choose. Another was running out of time. Their paths were about to collide in the most dangerous way possible. Zara Adeyemi had never felt more trapped than she did sitting in her parents' Kensington living room, listening to them plan her life like she was a business merger instead of their daughter. The Kim family is one of the most influential Korean families in tech, her father said, swirling his whiskey. Dae-young is perfect. Educated, sophisticated, excellent prospects. I don't care about his prospects, Daddy. I don't want an arranged marriage. Zara kept her voice steady, but her fingers gripped the armrest of her chair. Her mother, Adana, set down her teacup with deliberate precision. This is not an arrangement, darling. It's an introduction. Your father and Mr. Kim simply thought you two might be compatible. Then let me decide that after I meet him. Why does it feel like the wedding venue is already booked? Don't be dramatic. Her father's tone sharpened. We're not forcing you into anything. We're opening a door. But Zara, you're 28. Your sisters are settled. It's time you took your future seriously. Zara stood, her silk dress whispering against her legs. My future. Not yours. Mine. We've made the reservation for Friday at 8 p.m. Aurelius in Mayfair. You will attend, or will reconsider your position at the foundation. The threat landed like a slap. The Adeyemi Arts Foundation was everything to Zara. Her passion, her purpose, her escape from the suffocating expectations of her family's shipping empire. You wouldn't. Her mother's expression didn't change. Test us and find out. Zara left without another word, her mind racing. She couldn't go on this date. But she couldn't not go either. She was trapped. Unless. The idea came to her at 2 a.m., fueled by desperation and a bottle of wine. She grabbed her laptop and navigated to a private Facebook group for Nigerian professionals in London. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard for only a moment before she started typing. Urgent, need someone to attend a blind date on my behalf. Must be Nigerian British, late 20s, comfortable in formal settings. Will pay £4,000 for 3 hours. Serious inquiries only. Discretion essential. She posted it before she could overthink it, then poured another glass of wine and waited. Across London in a cramped Peckham flat, Amara Okoye was having the worst week of her life. And considering the past 6 months, that was saying something. The eviction notice sat on her kitchen counter like a death sentence. 7 days. She had 7 days to come up with 3 months of back rent or she'd be on the street. Her small graphic design business had dried up after her largest client went bankrupt, still owing her £4,000. The universe had a cruel sense of irony. Her phone buzzed. A notification from the side hustle group Naomi had added her to. She almost ignored it. Most posts were pyramid schemes or surveys that paid pennies. But the amount caught her eye. £4,000. Amara sat up, reading the post 3 times. It had to be fake. Nobody paid £4,000 for a date. But curiosity made her click on the poster's profile. Zara Adeyemi. The profile was private but showed enough. Beautiful woman at charity galas, art exhibitions, high society events. The kind of life Amara had only seen in magazines. Her finger hovered over the message button. This was insane. Potentially dangerous. Definitely too good to be true. But £4,000 was exactly what she needed. Exactly. She typed before she could talk herself out of it. I'm interested. What exactly would this involve? The response came within minutes. Can you meet tomorrow? 2 p.m. My address below. Come alone. Amara's stomach churned with equal parts fear and hope. She screenshot the conversation and sent it to Naomi with a message, if I disappear, this is why. Naomi's response was immediate, are you insane? Probably. But insane was better than homeless. The next afternoon, Amara stood outside a Canary Wharf apartment building that probably cost more per month than she'd earn in a year. The doorman looked at her worn jeans and faded jacket with barely concealed disdain. "I'm here to see Zara Adeyemi. She's expecting me." He made a show of checking his list. 20th floor. Apartment 2003. The elevator was mirrored on all sides. Amara caught her reflection and almost laughed at the absurdity. What was she doing here? This wasn't her world. These weren't her people. But £4,000 could become her world. Could buy her time to rebuild. Zara answered the door in silk loungewear that probably cost more than Amara's entire wardrobe. But what struck Amara immediately was how similar they looked. Same rich brown skin, same height, same build. Zara's hair was in elaborate braids while Amara's natural curls were pulled into a simple bun, but the bone structure was remarkably similar. "Oh my God," Zara breathed. "This is perfect. Come in, quickly." The apartment was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Thames, modern art on exposed brick, furniture that belonged in design magazines. Amara felt like a stain on expensive fabric. "Sit, please." Zara gestured to a velvet sofa. "Can I get you something? Wine? Tea? Water's fine." Amara perched on the edge of the seat, afraid to relax into luxury she couldn't afford to damage. Zara poured 2 glasses of water from a crystal pitcher, then sat across from her. "I know this seems bizarre. It is bizarre. But I'm desperate, and I think you might be too, or you wouldn't be here." The post said £4,000 for a date. "For attending a date in my place." Zara leaned forward. "My parents arranged a blind date with a Korean tech CEO. They think it's time I settled down. I have zero interest in this man, but I can't refuse without consequences." "So you want me to pretend to be you?" "Not exactly. He's never met me. Our parents set this up. I need you to go as yourself, but use my name. Be polite, be pleasant, but make absolutely sure there's no romantic connection. No spark. Just enough that when he politely declines a second date, my parents can't say I didn't try." Amara's mind raced. What if he likes me, likes whoever he thinks I am? Then you gently discourage him. "You're not interested. You're not looking for anything serious. Whatever it takes." Zara's perfectly manicured hands twisted together. "I can't do this myself. I've met him briefly before at a business function. He'd recognize me. But you look enough like you to fool parents who aren't looking too closely." "Exactly." Zara stood, pacing to the window. "I know it's a lot to ask. But I'm offering £4,000 for 3 hours of your time. Cash. Tonight. Tonight." The word hit Amara like cold water. "The date is tonight? 8 p.m. Aurelius in Mayfair. I have the perfect dress. We're the same size. I'll do your hair and makeup. You'll look incredible." Zara turned back, and Amara saw genuine desperation in her eyes. "Please. I'll pay you $2,000 now, $2,000 after. All you have to do is show up, have dinner, and make sure he's not interested in a second date." Amara thought of the eviction notice. 7 days. She thought of her empty bank account, her failed business, the shame of calling her parents in Lagos to ask for money they didn't have. She thought of sleeping on Naomi's couch or worse. "4,000, she said quietly. "Half now, half after." Zara's shoulders sagged with relief. "Thank you. God, thank you." She disappeared into another room and returned with an envelope. 2,000. "Count it if you want." Amara's hands shook as she took the envelope. She'd never held this much cash in her life. What if something goes wrong? What if he figures it out? He won't. You'll be confident, charming, yourself. Just, not too charming. Not too available. Zara checked her watch. "We have 5 hours. Let's get you ready." The transformation was surreal. Zara worked like a professional stylist, selecting an emerald dress that hugged Amara's curves perfectly, gold jewelry that caught the light, heels that added 3 inches to her height. The makeup was flawless, highlighting her cheekbones, making her eyes dramatic, her lips full and glossy. "Your hair is gorgeous natural," Zara said, working product through Amara's curls. "We'll just define it, make it elegant." When Amara finally looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She looked expensive. Confident. Like she belonged in places like Aurelius. "Remember," Zara coached as she called a car service. "You're Sophia Adeyemi. I'm using my middle name so my parents don't get confused if anyone mentions it. You're a creative director. You love art, design, culture. Be smart, be engaging, but keep emotional distance. No lingering eye contact. No personal questions that invite intimacy. Professional warmth, not romantic interest. What if he asks about my family? Keep it vague. Say they're in business, you prefer not to mix personal and professional. Most men respect boundaries." Zara handed her a small clutch. "Your phone's in here. Text me every 30 minutes. If anything feels wrong, fake a family emergency and leave immediately." The car arrived at 7:30. As Amara slid into the back seat, reality crashed over her. She was about to impersonate someone else, lie to a stranger, deceive parents she'd never met. This wasn't who she was. This wasn't what her mother had raised her to be. But £4,000 sat in her account now, transferred while she'd been getting ready. Real money. Saving grace. The driver pulled away from the curb, and Amara watched London slide past the window, each mile taking her further from her real life and deeper into someone else's. Aurelius was everything she'd feared. Intimidatingly elegant, hushed and exclusive, the kind of place where prices weren't listed because if you had to ask, you couldn't afford it. The maitre d' looked at her with the practiced assessment of someone used to determining who belonged and who didn't. "Reservation under Adeyemi," Amara said, channeling every ounce of confidence she didn't feel. "Of course. Mr. Kim is already seated. Follow me, please." Her heels clicked against marble floors. Crystal chandeliers cast soft light over pristine white tablecloths. She caught glimpses of other diners, older couples in understated luxury, business associates in quiet conversation. This was a world that ran on money and discretion. And then she saw him. Kim Dae-young sat at a corner table, and every warning Zara had given her evaporated from Amara's mind. He wasn't what she'd expected. The photos Zara had shown her hadn't captured the reality of him. He was beautiful in a way that seemed almost unfair, sharp cheekbones, dark eyes that tracked her approach with unsettling focus, black hair styled with casual precision. His suit was perfectly tailored, his posture relaxed but alert. But it was something beyond the physical that made Amara's breath catch. He radiated a quiet intensity, a sense of barely contained power. This was not a man who asked for things. He simply took them. He stood as she approached, and she noticed he was tall, several inches over 6 feet. His eyes met hers, and something electric passed between them. Something Amara definitely was not supposed to feel. "Sophia." His voice was deep, accented with Korean inflections that somehow made her name sound exotic. "I'm Dae-young. It's a pleasure to meet you." He extended his hand. Amara took it, and the contact sent warmth up her arm. His grip was firm but gentle, and he held her hand a fraction longer than necessary before releasing it. "The pleasure is mine," she managed, sliding into the chair he pulled out for her. He returned to his seat, and those dark eyes studied her with unnerving attention. "I'll be honest, I wasn't sure you'd come. Your father mentioned you were reluctant about this arrangement." "My father." "Right. Because she was supposed to be Zara." Amara's heart hammered. "I was curious," she said carefully. "Though I'm not sure how I feel about our parents playing matchmaker." A small smile touched his lips. "Agreed. But they mean well. And sometimes, they surprise us." The waiter appeared with menus. Amara focused on the leather-bound folder, trying to calm her racing pulse. The prices weren't listed, just descriptions in French and English. Seared scallops with saffron foam. Wagyu beef with truffle reduction. Everything sounded impossibly fancy. Have you been here before? Dae-young asked. No. First time. Then let me recommend. The sea base is exceptional. And if you trust me, I'll order for both of us. Unless you have dietary restrictions? She should say no. Should maintain control. But something about his quiet confidence made her want to say yes. I trust you. Another smile, this one reaching his eyes. He spoke to the waiter in fluid French, ordering with the ease of someone accustomed to fine dining. When the waiter left, Dae-young returned his attention to her, and Amara felt pinned by that gaze. So, Sophia. Tell me about yourself. What do you do when you're not being set up on blind dates? This was her chance. Be polite but distant. Professional warmth, not romantic interest. I'm in creative direction. Art, design, that sort of thing. It keeps me busy. Passionate about it? Very. Good. Passion is rare. Most people I meet are passionate about money or status. Rarely about the work itself. He leaned back slightly, still watching her. What drew you to it? Amara hesitated. She should give a vague, polite answer. Instead, the truth slipped out. I wanted to tell stories visually. To take something ordinary and show people the beauty in it they'd missed. His eyes flickered with interest. Show me. What? Your phone. Show me your work. Panic spiked. Her phone had her real work, her real name on everything. I don't really mix personal and professional on first dates. This isn't personal. It's professional curiosity. I'm interested in what you create. He wasn't going to let it go. Amara could see that in the set of his jaw, the focus in his eyes. This was a man who asked questions and expected answers. Maybe later, she deflected. I'd rather hear about you. What's it like running a tech company? Demanding. Isolating. Profitable. He said it without emotion, stating facts. I built quantum dynamics from nothing. Now it's worth more than I can spend in 10 lifetimes, but I work 18-hour days and trust almost no one. The honesty surprised her. That sounds lonely. It is. He paused as the waiter delivered wine, tasting it before nodding approval. When they were alone again, he continued. My parents want me to settle down. Find a nice Korean or Nigerian woman from a good family. Create stability. But stability feels like a cage when you've spent your life fighting for freedom. Amara forgot to maintain distance. Forgot the script. Then why are you here? Because sometimes, cages are where you meet the most interesting people. His lips curved into something that made her stomach flip. And you, Sophia, are very interesting. She needed to shut this down. Needed to be boring, unavailable, wrong. I'm really not. I'm quite ordinary, actually. Liar. The word was soft but certain. You're many things, but ordinary isn't one of them. The food arrived, saving her from responding. The sea base was perfect, delicate, and flavorful. They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes, but Amara felt his attention like a physical touch. Can I ask you something? Dae-young set down his fork. And I want you to be honest. Okay. Do you want to be here? The question landed like a grenade. Amara's mind raced. She should say no. Should make this easy for both of them. Instead, she met his eyes and said, I don't know yet. Something shifted in his expression. Respect, maybe. Or recognition. At least you're honest. Most people would lie, say whatever they thought I wanted to hear. Is that what usually happens? People telling you what you want to hear? Always. He took a sip of wine, his eyes never leaving hers. Do you know what it's like to have money, Sophia? Real money? Everyone wants something. A job, an investment, a connection. No one just wants to know you. Amara felt a pang of guilt so sharp it almost made her gasp. Because she was exactly what he was describing. Someone who wanted something. Someone pretending. That must be exhausting. It's predictable. Which is worse? He leaned forward slightly, and the intensity in his gaze made her breath catch. But you're not predictable. You didn't research me obsessively. You're not trying to impress me. You're not even sure you want to be here. That's the most honest I've had from anyone in years. If only he knew. Amara forced herself to take a bite of food, needing the moment to compose herself. Maybe I'm just good at hiding it. Maybe. Or maybe you're exactly what you appear to be. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned, then silenced it without responding. Sorry. Work never stops. Do you need to take that? No. Right now, this is more important. The words hung in the air between them, weighted with meaning. Tell me something real, Sophia. Something that matters to you. Run. The words screamed in Amara's head. This was getting too deep, too personal, too dangerous. She was supposed to be creating distance, not intimacy. But something about the way he looked at her, the genuine curiosity in his eyes, made the walls she'd built crumble. I'm afraid of being invisible, she heard herself say. Of working my whole life and leaving nothing behind. No mark. No proof I was here. Dae-young was quiet for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then, I understand that more than you know. The waiter cleared their plates, offered dessert. Dae-young declined for both of them and ordered coffee instead. The restaurant had grown quieter, other diners finishing their meals, the ambient noise dropping to a gentle murmur. Walk with me, Dae-young said suddenly. There's a park nearby. I'd like to continue this conversation somewhere less formal. Every instinct screamed no. Stick to the plan. End the date. Collect the money. Leave. I should probably. Please. The single word, the way he said it, stopped her cold. There was no arrogance, no assumption. Just a simple request from someone who rarely asked for anything. One walk, Amara agreed, and wondered what the hell she was doing. He paid the bill with a black credit card the waiter handled like religious artifact, then helped her with her coat. His hand at the small of her back as they left sent electricity up her spine. The November air was crisp, carrying the scent of autumn leaves and distant rain. Dae-young led her to a small park 2 blocks away, mostly empty at this hour. London glittered around them, all lights and life and noise, but here it felt strangely intimate. They walked in silence for a few minutes, their breath creating small clouds in the cold air. Amara pulled her coat tighter, and without asking, Dae-young shrugged off his suit jacket and draped it over her shoulders. You'll freeze, she protested. I'm fine. Korean blood. We're built for cold. He smiled, and it transformed his face from intimidating to almost boyish. Besides, I'm used to discomfort. I spent my first 2 years in London sleeping in a one-room flat above a restaurant, working 20-hour days to get my company off the ground. Your parents didn't help? His expression hardened slightly. They did. After I proved I didn't need them. Pride is expensive, but it's all I had. Amara understood that in her bones. What made you leave Korea? The same thing that probably made your parents leave Nigeria. The belief that somewhere else, I could become something more. He stopped walking, turning to face her. But success is lonely, Sophia. No one tells you that part. That the higher you climb, the fewer people can reach you. Maybe you're climbing the wrong mountains. He studied her face, and Amara felt exposed under that gaze, like he could see through the makeup and the expensive dress to the girl underneath who was 3 weeks behind on rent. What would you climb? Something that mattered. Something that left the world different than I found it. And have you? Left your mark? Amara thought of her failed design business, her empty portfolio, her dreams deferred and delayed and slowly dying. Not yet. But I'm trying. Then you're braver than most. Dae-young's hand came up, and for a heart-stopping moment she thought he might touch her face. Instead, he gestured to a bench. Sit with me? Just for a minute? They sat, and Amara was acutely aware of how close they were, how his thigh nearly touched hers. Her phone buzzed in her clutch. Probably Zara, wondering why she hadn't checked in. She ignored it. Can I tell you something? Dae-young's voice was quieter now, more vulnerable. I agreed to this date because my parents have been relentless. They want grandchildren, stability, someone to share the burden of family expectations. I thought it would be another wasted evening with someone who saw dollar signs instead of a person. And? He turned to look at her fully, and the intensity in his dark eyes made her stomach flip. And you're not what I expected. You're real. Present. You listen instead of waiting to talk. You're not performing for me. The irony was crushing. Amara was absolutely performing. This entire evening was a performance. She was the worst kind of fraud, and here he was, praising her authenticity. Dae-young, I want to see you again. The words came out firm, decided. Tomorrow. Dinner again, or coffee, or just another walk. I don't care. I just want more time with you. Panic seized Amara's chest. This wasn't supposed to happen. She was supposed to be forgettable, wrong, a pleasant evening that led nowhere. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? Because I'm not who you think I am. Because this is a lie. Because in 3 hours I'll never see you again. Because we barely know each other. That's why people go on second dates. To get to know each other better. He shifted closer, and Amara could smell his cologne, something expensive and subtle. Unless you're not interested. In which case, tell me honestly, and I'll respect it. She should say no. Should end this cleanly. Instead, she heard herself say, it's not that simple. It is, actually. Either you want to see me again, or you don't. What I want doesn't matter. His eyebrows rose. That's a strange thing to say. Amara stood abruptly, needing distance. I should go. Thank you for dinner. It was lovely. Dae-young stood too, confusion flickering across his face. Did I say something wrong? No. You said everything right. That's the problem. The words escaped before she could stop them. He caught her hand gently. Sophia, I don't understand. Neither do I, Amara thought desperately. She pulled her hand free. Good night, Dae-young. I hope you find what you're looking for. She walked away quickly, heels clicking against pavement, his jacket still around her shoulders. She heard him call her name, call Zara's name, but she didn't turn back. The Uber she called was there in 3 minutes. Amara climbed in, gave the driver Zara's address, and only then let herself breathe. Her phone exploded with messages. Zara, why haven't you checked in? Zara, is everything okay? Zara, Amara, answer me. Amara typed quickly, on my way back. It's fine. But it wasn't fine. Nothing about this was fine. Because somewhere in the past 3 hours, she'd forgotten this was a job. She'd forgotten she was playing a role. She'd talked to Dae-young like he was a real person, not a mark. And worse, so much worse, she'd felt something. 20 minutes later, she stood in Zara's apartment, the other woman's anxious face searching hers. Well? How did it go? Did you manage to bore him? Amara pulled off the jacket, his jacket, she realized with a jolt, and handed it to Zara along with the clutch. He wants a second date. Zara's face went pale. What? He asked to see me again. Tomorrow. What did you say? I said no. I left. It's done. Amara kicked off the heels, her feet aching. Can I change now? I need to go home. Wait. Zara grabbed her arm. What do you mean he wants a second date? What happened? We had dinner. We talked. We walked in a park. He was. Amara trailed off, unsure how to finish. Genuine. Lonely. Unexpectedly kind. He was nice. Nice? Zara's voice climbed an octave. You were supposed to make sure he wasn't interested. I tried. I kept it professional. I maintained distance. But he. Amara ran a hand over her face, exhausted. He saw through it. Or he thought he did. He said I was real. Authentic. Zara paced the length of her living room, hands pressed to her temples. This is bad. This is really bad. If he wants a second date, he'll tell his parents. They'll tell my parents. They'll expect me to go. So tell them you're not interested. Problem solved. It's not that simple. Zara spun to face her. If I refuse now, after a successful first date, my parents will know something's wrong. They'll dig. They'll find out I hired you. This could destroy my family's reputation. My career. Everything. Amara felt cold settling in her stomach. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to go on the second date. Absolutely not. I'll pay you another 4,000 pounds. Zara's voice was desperate now, all composure gone. Please, Amara. One more date. Just one. Then you can end it properly. Tell him you're not feeling it, whatever. But if you disappear now, it looks suspicious. This isn't what I signed up for. I know. I know, and I'm sorry. But I'm begging you. Zara's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. My entire life is riding on this. One more date. That's all I'm asking. Amara thought of her landlord's text, the eviction notice, the life she was barely holding together. 4,000 more pounds would give her breathing room for months. Time to rebuild, to start over properly. But she also thought of Dae-young's face when he'd asked to see her again. The vulnerability in his eyes when he'd talked about loneliness. She'd be lying to him again, using him again. I'll do it, she heard herself say. One more date. Then I'm done, and you figure out your own problems. Relief flooded Zara's features. Thank you. God, thank you. I'll text him from a burner phone tomorrow, say I'd love to see him again. Just keep doing what you did tonight. What had she done tonight? Amara wasn't even sure anymore. She changed back into her own clothes, took the envelope Zara handed her with the remaining 2,000 pounds, and left without another word. The Uber ride home was a blur. Her flat looked smaller and shabbier than ever when she walked in, but it was hers. For now. Naomi was waiting on the couch, laptop open, clearly having stayed up despite the late hour. Well? Did you survive? Are you secretly married to a billionaire now? Amara collapsed next to her. It was one date. I survived. And I got paid. So why do you look like someone died? Because he was nice, Naomi. Actually, genuinely nice. And I lied to him about everything. That was the job. I know. But it doesn't feel like a job anymore. Amara pulled a blanket around herself. He wants a second date. Naomi's eyes widened. And I said yes. Well, Zara said yes on my behalf. Because apparently one lie deserves another. The bitterness in her voice surprised even her. You could still back out. And give up another 4,000 pounds? I can't afford principals right now. But lying in bed that night, Amara couldn't stop replaying the evening. The way Dae-young had listened, really listened, like her words mattered. The way he'd given her his jacket without hesitation. The loneliness in his voice when he talked about success being isolating. She'd expected arrogance, entitlement, the casual cruelty of the very rich. Instead, she'd found someone who seemed as trapped by expectations as she was by poverty. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'll pick you up. I hope you said yes. DJ. Amara stared at the message, her heart racing. How did he have her number? Then she remembered, Zara must have given it to him. Of course. She should ignore it. Let Zara handle the communication. But her fingers moved before her brain could stop them. I said yes. 3 dots appeared immediately, then, good. I haven't stopped thinking about you. Amara closed her eyes, guilt washing over her. This was wrong. All of it. But she typed back, see you tomorrow. The next evening, Amara stood in Zara's apartment again, being transformed into someone she wasn't. But this time, the process felt different. Heavier. Like putting on a costume for a play she didn't want to star in. Remember, Zara coached, applying the finishing touches to Amara's makeup. Tonight, start pulling back. Be a little distracted. A little cooler. Plant the seeds that this isn't working. Got it. And Amara? Thank you. Really. I know this isn't easy. It's easier than you think, Amara wanted to say. Easier than it should be. Dae-young picked her up himself this time, driving a sleek black Mercedes that probably cost more than Amara would earn in 5 years. He got out when he saw her, and the smile that crossed his face made her stomach flutter. "You look beautiful." "Thank you." She slid into the passenger seat, trying to remember she was supposed to be pulling away, not leaning in. "I thought we'd do something different tonight," he said as he drove. "No fancy restaurant. Just something simple." "Simple?" He glanced at her, and there was something playful in his expression. "You'll see." 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a small Korean restaurant in New Malden, the kind of place with plastic chairs and handwritten menus. Nothing like Aurelius. Nothing fancy or impressive. "I know it's not what you're probably used to," Dae-young said, and for the first time, he seemed uncertain. "But the food is authentic. Reminds me of home. I thought maybe you'd like to see a different side of things." Amara felt something crack in her chest. He was trying. Actually trying to share something meaningful with her. "I love it." The relief on his face was genuine. Inside, the restaurant was warm and crowded, filled with families and couples speaking rapid Korean. They were seated at a small table near the back, and Dae-young ordered in Korean, his entire demeanor shifting. He seemed more relaxed here, more himself. "I come here when the corporate world gets too much," he explained as they waited for food. "When I need to remember where I came from." "Do you miss Korea?" "Parts of it. My grandmother mostly. She raised me while my parents built their business. She's the one who taught me that success means nothing if you lose yourself getting there." His expression grew distant. "She died 3 years ago. I was in a board meeting when it happened. Didn't make it back in time to say goodbye." The pain in his voice was raw, real. Amara reached across the table before she could stop herself, covering his hand with hers. "I'm sorry." He looked down at their joined hands, then back up at her. "She would have liked you. She always said the best people are the ones who listen more than they speak." The food arrived, bulgogi, bibimbap, kimchi, and other dishes Amara didn't recognize, but that smelled incredible. Dae-young showed her how to eat properly, laughing when she struggled with the chopsticks. "Here." He reached across, adjusting her grip. His fingers were warm against hers. "Like this." For a moment, they were frozen like that, his hand guiding hers, their faces close enough that she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. The moment stretched, electric and dangerous. "I've got it," Amara said softly, pulling back. They ate, and conversation flowed easier than it should. Dae-young talked about growing up between two cultures, never quite fitting in either place. Amara talked about art and design, carefully avoiding any details that might trip her up. But the emotions were real, even if the specifics were lies. "Can I ask you something?" Dae-young set down his chopsticks. "Last night, you said what you want doesn't matter." "What did you mean?" Amara's heart rate spiked. She should deflect, change the subject. "I just meant that sometimes, life doesn't care what we want." "That's cynical." "That's realistic." "No." He leaned forward, intensity returning to his gaze. "That's someone who's been disappointed too many times. Who's stopped fighting for what they want." The accuracy of his words hit like a physical blow. "You don't know me well enough to say that." "Then let me know you better." His voice dropped, intimate despite the crowded restaurant. "Because everything I've seen so far makes me want to know everything. What makes you laugh? What keeps you up at night? What you dream about when you let yourself dream." This was the moment. Amara knew it. The moment where she should pull back, create distance, start the slow exit Zara had coached her through. Instead, she heard herself say, "What if you don't like what you find?" Impossible. The certainty in his voice was absolute. "Sophia, I've met hundreds of people. Thousands. Most of them want something from me. But you? You look at me like I'm just a person. Like my money doesn't matter. Do you have any idea how rare that is?" Guilt twisted like a knife in Amara's gut. Because his money did matter. It was the only reason she was here. But looking at him now, seeing the hope in his eyes, she couldn't bring herself to destroy it. "Maybe I'm just a good actress," she whispered. "Maybe. Or maybe you're exactly who I think you are." They finished dinner, and Dae-young drove her through London, pointing out places that mattered to him. The hostel where he'd first stayed. The coffee shop where he'd written his first business plan. The park where he'd sat after closing his first major deal, too wired to sleep. "Why are you showing me all this?" Amara asked. Because I want you to see me. Not the CEO, not the money, not the reputation. Just me. He pulled over near the Thames, killing the engine. And because I'm hoping you'll trust me enough to let me see the real you too. The real me is a fraud, Amara thought. The real me is lying to you with every breath. You might be disappointed. Let me be the judge of that. He turned in his seat, facing her fully. Sophia, I know this is fast. I know we just met. But I haven't felt this alive in years. You make me remember why I fought so hard to build something. Because somewhere out there was someone worth building it for. Dae-young. I'm not asking for promises. I'm just asking for honesty. Do you feel this too? Yes. God help her, yes. Every moment with him felt like coming alive. Like being seen for the first time. Even though he was seeing someone who didn't exist. I feel something, she admitted. But it's complicated. Then let's uncomplicate it. He reached for her hand, threading his fingers through hers. One day at a time. No pressure. Just us, figuring this out together. Amara looked at their joined hands, feeling the warmth of his skin against hers, and something inside her shattered. She couldn't do this anymore. Couldn't keep lying to someone who was being this vulnerable, this honest. I need to tell you something. The words came out rough, painful. Okay. She opened her mouth, the confession right there on her tongue. I'm not Sophia. I'm not who you think I am. This is all a lie. But then her phone buzzed in her purse. Once. Twice. Insistent. Sorry, I should, she pulled it out. Messages from Zara. My parents just called. They're thrilled about you too. Don't mess this up. Remember the plan. Start distancing yourself. 4,000 pounds, Amara. Don't forget what's at stake. The reminder hit like cold water. 4,000 pounds. Her rent. Her survival. Her mother's hospital bills that would start coming soon. She'd lied to Zara about that, said they were British when really, her mother was still in Lagos, needing surgery Amara couldn't afford. She locked her phone. It's nothing. Just work. The moment was broken. Dae-young seemed to sense her pulling away and started the car. Let me take you home. You don't have to. I want to. His voice was gentle but firm. Besides, I'd like to know where you live. In case I want to surprise you with coffee sometime. Panic seized her. He couldn't see where she really lived. The shabby Peckham flat was nothing like where Sophia Adeyemi would reside. Actually, just drop me at the corner. I'm staying with a friend temporarily. Renovations at my place. She saw the flicker of doubt in his eyes, but he didn't push. All right. The corner it is. When he pulled up to the street she'd indicated, 3 blocks from Zara's building, he put the car in park and turned to her. Sophia, whatever's complicated, whatever you're afraid of, I want you to know something. I'm patient. I can wait. Wait for what? For you to trust me. He lifted her hand, pressed a kiss to her knuckles that sent shivers down her spine. Good night. I'll text you tomorrow. Amara practically ran from the car, her heart hammering. She waited until he drove away before calling an Uber to take her to her real home. Naomi was already asleep, so she crept to her room and lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Her phone lit up. A text from Dae-young, thank you for tonight. You're all I can think about. Another from Zara, how did it go? Did you start pulling back? Amara threw the phone across the room and pressed her palms to her eyes. What was she doing? This was supposed to be simple. 1 date, maybe 2, then out. But it had been 2 dates, and she was in deeper than ever. The next morning, she woke to 17 missed calls from Zara. When she finally called back, Zara's voice was frantic. We have a problem. A massive problem. What now? Dae-young told his parents the dates went amazing. They told my parents. Now both families want to have dinner together. This weekend. To celebrate the promising match. Amara sat up, ice flooding her veins. No. Absolutely not. I can't meet your parents. They'll know immediately I'm not you. We look similar enough. Similar isn't the same. Your mother gave birth to you. She'll know. Zara was quiet for a long moment. Then we need to end this. Now. Before it goes any further. You need to break it off with him. Today. How am I supposed to do that? I don't know. Tell him you're not interested. Tell him you met someone else. Tell him anything, but end it before this becomes a complete disaster. Amara thought of Dae-young's face last night, the vulnerability when he'd shared his grandmother's death, the hope when he talked about building something worth having. Zara, he has real feelings. If I just ghost him or give him some bullshit excuse. I don't care. This was supposed to be simple. You were supposed to make him not interested, not fall for him yourself. I didn't, but the words died. Because she had. Somehow, impossibly, she'd started falling for a man she was lying to. Give me until tonight. I'll meet him and end it properly. Face to face. Fine. But Amara? After tonight, we're done. I'll pay you the remaining money, and we never speak of this again. The line went dead. Amara sat in her tiny room, surrounded by her real life, the cheap furniture, the art supplies she could barely afford, the bills stacked on her desk. This was her reality. Not expensive restaurants and handsome billionaires and romance that felt like a movie. She texted Dae-young, "Can we meet tonight? I need to talk to you." His response came immediately, "Of course. 7 p.m.? I'll pick you up." "No. I'll come to you. Send me the address." That evening, Amara dressed in her own clothes. No borrowed designer dress, no professional makeup. Just jeans and a sweater, her natural hair in a simple style. If she was going to end this, she'd do it as herself. The address he sent was a penthouse in Canary Wharf. Of course it was. The doorman looked at her outfit with skepticism but let her up after confirming with Dae-young. He answered the door in casual clothes, jeans and a dark sweater that made him look younger, less corporate. His smile when he saw her was genuine, warm. "You look different. I like it. Can I come in?" "Of course." He stepped back, and Amara entered a space that was beautiful but surprisingly sparse. Minimalist furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Thames, but very few personal touches. It felt lonely. "Drink?" he offered. "No, thank you. I need to talk to you about something important." His expression shifted, concern replacing warmth. "Okay. Let's sit." They sat on his modern couch, and Amara tried to find the words. How do you break someone's heart when you've been lying to them from the start? Dae-young, these past few days have been incredible. You've been incredible. But you're ending this. His voice was flat, emotionless. A wall had come down behind his eyes. It's not that simple. It is, actually. You're about to tell me this isn't working. That you don't feel what I feel. That we're moving too fast or it's too complicated or whatever kind words you've chosen to soften the blow. He stood, walked to the window, his back to her. I've heard it before, Sophia. You don't need to explain. That's not. Amara stood too, frustration and guilt warring inside her. You don't understand. Then help me understand. He turned, and the pain in his eyes was real, raw. Because from where I'm standing, I opened myself up to you. Showed you parts of myself I don't show anyone. And you're about to walk away. I'm not who you think I am. The words burst out before she could stop them. He went very still. What does that mean? This was it. The moment of truth. Amara could end it with a clean lie, say she didn't feel the same, walk away, collect her money. Or she could tell him the truth and face the consequences. My name isn't Sophia Adeyemi. Her voice shook. It's Amara Okoye. I'm not a creative director for some luxury brand. I'm a struggling graphic designer who's 3 weeks behind on rent. I was hired to go on that first date with you. Hired to make sure you weren't interested so the real Sophia wouldn't have to deal with an arranged marriage her parents set up. The silence was deafening. Dae-young's face had gone completely blank, unreadable. You're lying. But his voice suggested he knew she wasn't. I wish I was. Sophia and I look similar. She paid me £4,000 to pretend to be her for one date. But then you wanted to see me again, and she panicked, and I needed the money so badly I agreed to one more date. But it wasn't supposed to go like this. You weren't supposed to be kind or lonely or real. You were supposed to be some arrogant rich guy I could manipulate and forget. Get out. The words were quiet, deadly. Dae-young, please. Get out. Louder now, fury bleeding through the control. You come into my home, into my life, you let me share things I don't share with anyone, and it was all a lie? All of it? Not all of it. The conversations were real. My feelings were real. I wasn't supposed to fall for you, but I did, and I couldn't keep lying. So you thought a confession would absolve you? He laughed, bitter and sharp. You thought telling me you lied about everything, that you used me, that every moment we shared was bought and paid for, you thought that would make this better? Tears streamed down Amara's face. I thought you deserved the truth. I deserved to never meet you in the first place. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling you a car. When it arrives, you leave. And if I ever see you again, I'll have you arrested for fraud. Dae-young. My name in your mouth is an insult. He wasn't looking at her anymore, staring at his phone screen with rigid focus. The car will be here in 3 minutes. Wait downstairs. Amara grabbed her bag, hands shaking. At the door, she turned back. He was standing at the window again, hands braced against the glass, his shoulders tight with tension. For what it's worth, she whispered, falling for you was the realest thing I've ever done. He didn't respond. Didn't move. Amara left, and the sound of the door closing behind her felt like the end of something that had never really begun. The elevator ride down felt like descending into hell. Amara's face was wet with tears she couldn't stop. The doorman avoided her eyes as she stumbled outside into the cold November night. The car was already waiting. She gave the driver her address and curled into herself in the back seat, pressing her fist to her mouth to keep the sobs quiet. She'd done the right thing. She'd told the truth. So why did it feel like she'd just destroyed the best thing that had ever happened to her? Her phone buzzed. Zara. Did you end it? Amara stared at the message, then typed, it's over. Don't contact me again. She blocked the number, then opened her banking app. The deposits were there. £8,000 total. Blood money. The price of breaking a good man's heart. Naomi was waiting when she got home, took one look at Amara's face, and pulled her into a hug. Oh, babe. What happened? I told him the truth. Amara's voice was muffled against Naomi's shoulder. I told him everything, and he looked at me like I was garbage. Like I was nothing. You did the right thing. Then why does the right thing feel so wrong? The next week was a blur of misery. Amara paid her rent, bought groceries, tried to restart her design business. But everything felt hollow. She'd check her phone compulsively, hoping for a message she knew wouldn't come. She'd lie awake remembering the way Dae-young had smiled at her, before he knew she was a liar. Zara tried to call once. Amara didn't answer. Whatever happened with her parents and the arranged marriage wasn't Amara's problem anymore. But 10 days after that awful night, everything changed. Amara was at a coffee shop, trying to work on a logo design, when she heard a familiar voice. Miss Okoye. We need to talk. She looked up to find a tall Korean man in an expensive suit standing beside her table. Not Dae-young. Someone else. Older, harder. Who are you? Park Min-ho. I work for Kim Dae-young. He sat down without invitation. And you've created quite a problem. Fear spiked through her. I don't want any trouble. I'll return the money. This isn't about money. His expression was unreadable. After you left, Mr. Kim did some investigating. He found Sophia Adeyemi. Had a very interesting conversation with her and her parents. The real story came out. How she hired you, how she manipulated the situation, how you tried to end it honestly. Amara's heart hammered. What does he want? That's complicated. Min-ho pulled out a tablet, showed her a photo. It was from a society magazine, Dae-young at some gala, looking remote and untouchable. There's a major investor meeting this Friday. Several potential partners will be there with their families. Mr. Kim's parents are pressuring him to bring someone. To show stability. I don't understand what this has to do with me. He wants you to attend as his date. Amara laughed, sharp and disbelieving. He hates me. He told me to get out. He threatened to have me arrested. He's angry. But he's also logical. You two have chemistry. The dates went well before the truth came out. And despite everything, you're the only person in his life who's been honest with him. Minho's expression softened slightly. Even if that honesty came late. This is insane. He's offering £50,000. One event. 4 hours. You'll be introduced as his girlfriend. You'll smile, make conversation, and help him close several crucial deals. Then you'll part ways and never see each other again. £50,000. Amara's mind reeled. That was a year's rent. Startup capital for her business. Her mother's surgery with money left over. Why would he want someone who lied to him? Because the alternative is showing up alone and facing questions he doesn't want to answer. Because despite his anger, he knows you can handle that world. And because, though he'd never admit it, he's not ready to let you go completely. Amara's throat tightened. I hurt him. You did. But you also showed him something real before that. He's not over it. This is his way of having you in his life one more time, on terms he can control. Minho stood. Think about it. You have until tomorrow to decide. He left a business card and walked out. Amara sat frozen, her coffee going cold. That night, she lay in bed weighing the decision. £50,000 would change her life. But seeing Dae-young again, pretending one more time, knowing he despised her, could she survive that? Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello? Amara. Dae-young's voice sent electricity through her. Minho told me he made contact. Yes. Silence stretched between them. Finally, he said, I shouldn't want you there. I should hate you. But you don't? I do. And I don't. It's complicated. He sounded tired. I've been angry for 10 days. Furious. But then I remember how you looked when you confessed. You were terrified. You knew I might destroy you, but you told the truth anyway. I'm sorry. For all of it. I know. More silence. Then, will you come? To the gala? Why do you want me there? Honestly? Because everyone else in my life is either using me or afraid of me. But you? You looked at me like I was just a person. Even while lying, that part was real. And I find myself missing it. Missing you. Amara closed her eyes, tears slipping down her temples. I'll come. But Dae-young? After this, we're done. Clean break. No more games. Agreed. His voice was rough. Minho will send details tomorrow. And Amara? Thank you. The line went dead. The gala was at the Rosewood Hotel, all old-world glamour and new money. Minho had sent a stylist to Amara's flat, a surreal experience that left her feeling like Cinderella. The dress was midnight blue, elegant and sophisticated. The jewelry was real diamonds. The shoes actually fit. When the car picked her up, she barely recognized herself in the reflection. Dae-young was waiting in the lobby, devastating in a black tuxedo. When he saw her, something flickered in his eyes. Pain. Want. Anger. All of it mixed together. You look beautiful. The words were formal, distant. Thank you. You look good too. They stood there awkwardly until Minho cleared his throat. The investors are waiting. Dae-young offered his arm. Amara took it, trying to ignore the way her skin burned where they touched. The ballroom was full of the kind of people Amara had only seen in magazines. Old money and new, power and prestige, everyone circling everyone else like sharks. And there, across the room, she saw Sophia Adeyemi with her parents. Sophia's eyes widened when she spotted Amara. She started toward them, but Dae-young steered Amara in the opposite direction. She tried to apologize, he said quietly. After I confronted her. Said she panicked, made bad choices. Her parents were horrified. What did you tell them? The truth. That their daughter hired someone to deceive me, and that person had more integrity than their entire family. His jaw was tight. They're no longer business partners with my parents. Before Amara could respond, an older couple approached. Korean, elegantly dressed, and clearly important. Dae-young. The woman's smile was warm. And this must be the young lady we've heard about. Chairman Lee, Mrs. Lee, this is Amara Okoye. Amara, these are major investors in quantum dynamics. Amara shook their hands, slipping into the role. Charming. Poised. Interested. Everything they'd expect from a billionaire's girlfriend. How did you two meet? Mrs. Lee asked. Amara and Dae-young exchanged a glance. Through mutual acquaintances, he said smoothly. Though the circumstances were unconventional. The best love stories usually are, Chairman Lee chuckled. Love story. The words hung in the air between them, heavy with irony. The evening progressed in a blur of introductions and small talk. Amara played her role perfectly, and she could see Dae-young's tension easing as deals were discussed, partnerships formed. She was good at this. Better than she'd realized. During dinner, seated at the head table, Dae-young leaned close. You're a natural at this. I'm a professional liar, remember? His expression tightened. That's not what I meant. I know. Sorry. She looked down at her untouched food. This is harder than I thought it would be. What is? Being this close to you. Knowing you hate me. I don't hate you, Amara. His voice was so quiet she almost didn't hear it. I wish I did. It would be easier. Before she could respond, Sophia appeared at their table, her face pale. Dae-young, I need to speak with you. Privately. There's nothing to discuss. Please. Just 5 minutes. He stood reluctantly. I'll be right back, he told Amara. Left alone, Amara sipped water and tried not to think about what they were discussing. But then someone slid into Dae-young's empty seat. A beautiful Korean woman, mid-30s, dripping in jewelry. Her smile was sharp as glass. So you're the latest conquest. How much is he paying you? Excuse me? Don't play innocent. I'm Isabella Chen. I was exactly where you are 6 months ago. On his arm, playing the devoted girlfriend, helping close deals. The money's good, but don't mistake it for anything real. Amara's stomach twisted. You're wrong. Am I? Did he tell you you're special? That you're different from everyone else? That he's never felt this way before? Isabella's laugh was cruel. He said the same to me. And to the woman before me. Dae-young collects pretty things. Enjoys them for a while. Then discards them when something shinier comes along. I don't believe you. Then you're a fool. Isabella stood. Enjoy it while it lasts. But don't fall for him. He's incapable of loving anyone but himself. She walked away, leaving Amara shaking. Was any of it real? Or had she been just another transaction in a world built on transactions? Dae-young returned moments later, his expression dark. What did Isabella say to you? That I'm not special. That you've done this before with others. He closed his eyes briefly. She's lying. Is she? Amara. Because suddenly I don't know what's real anymore. Was any of it real? Or was I just another hired actress in your life? How dare you? His voice was low, furious. I opened my heart to you. I showed you parts of myself I've never shown anyone. And you think that was fake? You're paying me £50,000 to be here. How is that different from what we started with? The words hung between them, sharp and cutting. Around them, people were starting to stare. Dae-young stood abruptly. Come with me. Now. He didn't wait for her response, just walked toward the exit. Amara followed, heart hammering, aware of dozens of eyes tracking their movement. He led her to a private terrace, empty and cold under the November sky. The moment the door closed, he turned on her. You want to know what's real? Fine. I've spent 10 days trying to hate you. Trying to convince myself you were just another liar, another person using me. But I can't. Because every time I close my eyes, I see you at that Korean restaurant, laughing at my terrible jokes. I see you in my car, honest enough to admit things were complicated. I see you walking away after confessing, choosing truth over money. Dae-young. I'm not done. You think I pay women to be with me? Isabella was a business partner who wanted more. I ended it when I realized she only saw my bank account. Before that, there was no one. No one real. No one who made me feel like I could breathe. And then you walked into Aurelius in that ridiculous emerald dress, pretending to be someone else, and for the first time in years, I felt alive. Amara's breath caught. You knew from the start? I suspected. Confirmed it after the first date. But I didn't care because the person you were when you forgot to lie. That person was incredible. So why the distance? Why the anger? Because you lied. The words exploded out of him. Because I let myself believe, just for a moment, that someone could see me and not want something. And then I found out even that was bought and paid for. I know. I know, and I'm sorry. I was desperate and stupid and human. He stepped closer, and she could see moisture in his eyes. And brave enough to tell me the truth when it would have been easier to keep lying. And standing here now, even though I'm paying you, even though you have every reason to hate me back. They were inches apart now. Amara could feel the heat of him, smell his cologne. I don't hate you, she whispered. I've tried. God, I've tried. But Dae-young, I'm so tired of pretending. Tired of performing. Tired of being anyone but myself. Then don't. His hand came up, cupping her face with devastating gentleness. Be Amara Okoye. The struggling designer with dreams bigger than her bank account. The woman who ugly cried at a Korean restaurant. The person I fell in love with. You don't love me. You love who you think I am. No. His forehead touched hers. I love the woman who's terrified right now but standing here anyway. I love the woman who chose honesty over 50,000 pounds because it was the right thing to do. I love you, Amara. The real you. Flaws and desperation and all of it. This is crazy. But she was crying now, her hands fisting in his jacket. We barely know each other. I lied to you. You paid me. This isn't a fairy tale. No. It's better. It's real. He pulled back just enough to meet her eyes. I'm not asking you to pretend anymore. I'm asking you to take a chance on something genuine. On us. What if I break your heart again? Then at least it'll be real this time. No lies. No games. Just two broken people trying to build something whole. Amara looked at him, really looked at him. At the vulnerability in his eyes, the hope warring with fear. And she realized something. They'd both been performing their entire lives. Him as the untouchable CEO. Her as the struggling artist who had everything under control. Both of them terrified of being truly seen. Okay, she breathed. Okay. But Dae-young? I don't want your money. Any of it. If we do this, we do it as equals. The 50,000. Keep it. Donate it. I don't care. If you want me in your life, it has to be because you want me. Not because you're paying for the privilege. A smile broke across his face, transforming it from severe to beautiful. You're sure? Terrified. But sure. He kissed her then, and it was nothing like she'd imagined. It was desperate and gentle, fierce and tender, an apology and a promise all at once. Amara kissed him back, tasting salt from both their tears, feeling like she was falling and flying simultaneously. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Dae-young rested his forehead against hers. What now? Now we go back inside. Face everyone together. And then maybe you take me on a real first date. Where I pay for my own meal and tell you my actual life story. He laughed, the sound lighter than she'd ever heard from him. I'd like that. They walked back into the gala hand in hand. People stared. Sophia looked stunned. Isabella looked furious. But Amara didn't care. For the first time in months, maybe years, she felt free. Later that night, after the event ended, they sat in a 24-hour diner in Peckham. No fancy restaurant. No expensive wine. Just greasy burgers and fluorescent lights and the most honest conversation Amara had ever had. She told him everything. Her failed business, her fears, her dreams. He told her about the loneliness of success, the pressure of expectations, the fear that no one would ever see past his money. What happens now? Amara asked as they shared a plate of chips at 3 in the morning. I don't know. Dae-young took her hand across the table. But I'd like to find out. Together. If you'll have me. On one condition. Name it. No more paying people to be in your life. No more transactions. If we do this, we do it honestly. Messily. Real. Deal. He brought her hand to his lips, kissed her knuckles. Though I reserve the right to occasionally buy you dinner. Real dates deserve real food. Amara laughed, feeling lighter than she had in years. I can live with that. They left the diner as dawn painted London pink and gold. Dae-young drove her home, walked her to her door, kissed her goodnight like a teenager on a first date. I'll call you tomorrow, he promised. You better. As she watched him drive away, Amara realized something. She'd gone to ruin a date and found the life she never thought she deserved. Found someone who saw her, really saw her, and loved what he found. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was better. It was real. Thank you for staying with me through Amara and Dae-young's journey. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to K_stories with Karis for more emotional romance stories. Comment below and tell me, would you have confessed the truth, or kept the lie? I read every comment. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most honest love comes from the bravest truth.